So let's get right into it. At a recent Harvard forum, you had these two brilliant minds who went head to head on one of the biggest questions of our time. What's the point of school when AI can literally do our thinking for us? And what came out of it was this totally radical new plan for education, and then a devastating critique from an AI that was actually built to find its fatal flaws. And look, this isn't some abstract, far-off future we're talking about. The AI revolution in the classroom is happening right now. New research shows that over 10% of all conversations with ChatGPT are for teaching or for tutoring. That puts education right near the top of the list for how it's being used. AI is already the new classroom assistant, whether we're ready for it or not. And this has created a huge tension. I mean, on one hand, the risks are pretty obvious, right? You've got fears about cheating, biased content, and students just using AI as a shortcut, completely avoiding the hard work of actually learning. But then, on the other hand, the opportunities are just revolutionary. We're talking truly personalized instruction for every single student, and incredible support for overworked educators. So where do we go from here? Well, that brings us to our first big idea, and it comes from the legendary psychologist Howard Gardner. Yep, the guy who gave us the theory of multiple intelligences. He believes that this age of AI requires way more than just a few little tweaks to the curriculum. Nope, he thinks we need to tear the whole thing down and start completely over with a radical new plan. The foundation for his whole plan was actually laid years ago when he came up with what he called the 5 minds for the future. Okay, so 3 of them are cognitive. You've got the disciplined mind, which masters things like history or math, the synthesizing mind, which connects all the dots, and the creating mind, which, comes up with new stuff. But the other 2, those are the uniquely human ones, the respectful and the ethical minds. And here's the crucial point. Gardner's argument is that AI is well on its way to mastering those first 3 cognitive minds. It's going to be better at history, at synthesis, and maybe even at creativity than most humans. So his conclusion? We are focusing on all the wrong things. Human education has to pivot. It has to move away from what machines can do and instead double down on what they can't: respect and ethics. And this is what leads him to his self-proclaimed crazy idea. First, kids just master the absolute basics: reading, writing, and coding. Then, and this is the really wild part, school just stops forcing academic subjects like calculus or biology on every single student. Instead, education completely shifts to prioritizing those human skills, and they're taught through these hands-on collaborative experiences. Think scouting, interactive museums, or even Quaker-style discussion groups. It's a pretty bold vision for a new kind of human, right? But how in the world do you test an idea that big? Well, Gardner's collaborator, a professor named Anthea Roberts, had an idea. Let's build a custom AI critic, and then just set it loose on the plan. So she built this AI around a concept she calls Dragonfly Thinking. Think about it. A dragonfly's eye has up to 30,000 individual little lenses, and it integrates them all to get this incredible, nearly 360-degree view of reality. The idea was to build an AI that could do the exact same thing for a complex problem, look at it from every single possible angle at once. So that's exactly what she did. She fed Gardner's entire proposal into her Dragonfly AI and gave it one simple command: act as a devil's advocate and find the fatal flaws. What it came back with was, well, pretty brutal. The first fatal flaw it zeroed in on was this: the competitiveness suicide pact. The AI argued that making science, math, and all these other technical subjects elective would basically be an act of unilateral disarmament in the global economy. I mean, how could a nation possibly compete if its population wasn't fluent in the languages of technology and data? And the second critique was just as devastating: the elitist engine. The AI predicted that Gardner's plan would actually create a 2-tiered society. Wealthy parents would just pay for private tutors to teach their kids all those elective cognitive skills, right? Meanwhile, the public system would be churning out a generation skilled in ethics, but lacking the knowledge to actually innovate or compete. It would just make inequality much worse. So, a total knockout blow for the AI? Well, not exactly. Because what this whole exercise really reveals isn't a future of humans versus machines. It's the emergence of a brand new kind of partnership, one that's going to fundamentally change our role in the world. And this shift is absolutely fundamental. In the past, we were the actor on the stage, the athlete on the field, the writer of the book. But as AI starts to take over the primary doing, our role evolves.
We become the director of the actor, the coach of the athlete, the editor of the writer. Our job isn't to perform anymore. It's to guide, to question, and to refine.
And it gets even more complex from there. We're not just directing one single AI. We're quickly becoming the manager, the orchestrator, and the synthesizer of insights from multiple different AIs all at once, each with its own strengths, its own biases. This is a high-level executive skill that, frankly, we've never had to teach at scale before. So, what does this all mean for us, really? This new dynamic, this new partnership with these intelligent machines, it all points to a massive tectonic shift in what we should value as a core human skill. To understand just how big this is, think back to the 1870s. That's when education saw what we can call the first Socratic inversion. Teachers stopped just lecturing facts, giving the answers, and they started asking these probing questions, forcing students to generate the answers themselves. And that has been the model for critical thinking for over 100 years. But in a world that is just overflowing with AI-generated answers, that model is starting to break. Our value isn't in finding the answer anymore. That's the easy part now. The most critical human skill, the source of all future innovation and insight, is framing the right question. And that brings us to what we could call the second Socratic inversion. This is the next great revolution in learning and in thinking. The roles are flipped once again. The AI provides the answers, and our job, our fundamental human skill, becomes mastering the art of asking better and better questions, and then critically evaluating everything that it gives us back. Which really leaves us with this one final thought. In this new world, one that is completely saturated with answers on demand, the greatest challenge for our education systems, and really for each of us, is to figure out what is the most important question we now need to learn how to ask.